Everybody out here wants respect. Everybody wants people to look at them and clap. Everybody wants their name to mean something. But let me tell you the truth. Respect doesn't come because you ask for it. Respect doesn't come because you want it. Respect doesn't come because you think you deserve it. Respect comes to those who earn it, day in and day out in the dark, when nobody's watching, when nobody's patting you on the back. Respect comes when you suffer, when you sacrifice, when you bleed for something bigger than yourself. Respect doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your story. It only cares about what you prove over and over again. And most of you don't get it. You want the world to respect you, but you haven't even put in the work to respect yourself. Respect is not given. Respect is built. Respect is earned through sweat, through pain, through relentless consistency. You say you want respect, then stop talking and start earning it. Respect is never given. It's earned through consistent action. And most people don't want to hear that because it destroys the fantasy they're living in. We live in a world where everybody wants applause without effort, recognition without grind, and titles without sacrifice. They want to be respected for existing, for showing up, for breathing, for wanting it bad. But respect doesn't work like that. Respect is the one currency you cannot fake, you cannot beg for, and you cannot demand. Respect doesn't come from posting quotes. It doesn't come from talking about what you're going to do in an image. Respect comes from putting on an image. Respect comes from what you repeatedly do, day after day, in the shadows, in the silence, when nobody knows your name and nobody cares about your grind. It's earned through consistent action. And it doesn't care about your excuses, your background, your feelings, or your intentions. It cares about what you actually do. People want shortcuts to respect. They think if they shout loud enough or dress flashy enough or call themselves something long enough, people will bow down. But the truth is respect doesn't listen to noise. Respect doesn't respond to talk. Respect doesn't care about your label. Respect looks at your track record. Respect looks at whether your words and your actions line up. Respect asks, are you consistent when it hurts, when it's boring, when it's lonely? Respect isn't about one moment of glory. It's about the pattern of your life. One good day doesn't earn you respect, just like one bad day doesn't strip it away. Respect comes from the rhythm of discipline, the pattern of persistency, unshakable consistency of a person who refuses to quit. Think about the people you truly respect. They're not the ones who bragged the loudest or demanded recognition. They're the ones who quietly showed up and put the work day after day until their results spoke so loud you couldn't ignore them. They're the ones who sacrificed comfort, who blot for their craft, who didn't need to tell you how great they were because their actions already proved it. Respect is earned through sweat, through sacrifice, through hours when everybody else is sleeping or partying or wasting time. That's why so few people respect it in this world, because so few are willing to be consistent long enough to deserve it. Everyone wants it quick, but respect is slow. It takes years to build and seconds to lose. It takes a lifetime of discipline and 1 moment of weakness to destroy. That's why respect matters, because it's not a gift. It's a mirror of who you are over time. Most of you want respect for doing the bare minimum. You want respect for showing up once. You want respect because you tried and failed. But respect doesn't hand out participation trophies. Respect rewards resilience, not attempts. It rewards persistence, not intentions. It rewards the one after falling who keeps grinding when it hurts, who chooses consistency when it's easier to quit. The problem is you want respect on discount, but respect never goes on sale. Respect is expensive. It costs you excuses. It costs you your comfort. It costs you your laziness. You can't buy it with words. You can't steal it with fake images. You can't manipulate your way into it. You earn it brick by brick through consistent action, and when you stop, the bricks stop stacking. That's why you have to keep going. That's why you can't quit. Because the second you quit, respect walks away. Look at your life right now. If you're honest, do you respect yourself? Not do other people respect you. Do you respect you? Do you respect the way you show up every day, the way you handle challenges, the way you keep promises to yourself? Because here's the truth. If you don't respect yourself, nobody else will. Self-respect is the foundation. You can't fool yourself, and you can't fool the world for long. If you're inconsistent, if you break promises to yourself, if you quit when it gets tough, deep down you know it. And that's why you feel empty when people clap for you. That's why compliments don't stick. That's why you still feel like a fraud even when people say you're doing great. Because respect has to be earned internally first. You earn it by being consistent with yourself. You earn it by saying, I will, and then doing it no matter what it costs. When you build that kind of consistency, you don't need to beg for respect. It radiates off you. People can see it, feel it, and trust it because they know you're not built on talk. You're built on action. Respect is ruthless because it doesn't care about yesterday. It cares about today, about now, about whether you're still showing up. You can't live off past respect forever. You can't point to what you did years ago and expect people to still honor you if you're not the same person today. Respect requires constant renewal. It's like fitness. You can't get in shape once and then eat trash for years and expect to stay fit. You have to keep earning it every day. Respect is the same. It's not permanent unless you're permanent with your discipline. That's why consistent action matters more than flashes of greatness. Anybody can be great once. Anybody can get lucky once. But respect doesn't care about once. Respect is earned when you keep showing up long after the excitement is gone, long after the motivation fades, long after the crowd disappears. The reason consistent action matters so much is because life is always watching. People are always watching. And more importantly, you are always watching yourself. Every day you're building a case for or against your own respect. Every time you push through when it's hard, you're stacking evidence that you deserve respect. Every time you quit, you're stacking evidence that you don't. That's why some people walk into a room and command respect without saying a word. It's not magic. It's because they've lived consistent lives of discipline, and it shows. Their body shows it. Their eyes show it. Respect leaks out of them because they've earned it 1,000 times over. Meanwhile, others walk into a room and demand respect with their words, but nobody listens because their actions don't match. Respect can't be demanded. It can only be earned, and it can only be earned through consistent action over time. So when I say respect is never given, I mean stop expecting it to be handed to you. Stop expecting people to clap for you just because you showed up. Stop expecting admiration just because you want it. Life doesn't work that way. Respect doesn't work that way. Respect is brutal. It makes you prove yourself every single day, and it never lowers its standard. But if you're willing to meet that standard, if you're willing to be consistent, if you're willing to take action when you're tired, when you're lonely, when it hurts, then respect becomes yours. And once you have it, it's worth more than money, worth more than fame, worth more than likes or followers, because respect means you've built something real. You've built a life of discipline, and discipline is the ultimate proof. Consistent action is the only path. Respect is the reward. Respect is one of those things people love to talk about, but very few truly understand. Everybody wants it. Everybody demands it. But the truth is most people haven't done a damn thing to earn it. You see, respect is not some entitlement that just falls into your lap because of your age, your position, or your title. It's not something that gets handed out like candy. It's something you fight for, something you prove day in and day out through your actions, through your decisions, through the way you show up for yourself when nobody else is watching. The starting point of earn else begins with the respect you show yourself. If you can't even look in the mirror and honestly say you've given everything you've got, how in the world do you expect others to look at you with admiration or trust? When you wake up in the morning and hit the snooze button over and over again, you're sending yourself a message that your goals don't matter, that your promises to yourself don't mean anything. That's a direct attack on your own self-respect. If you cut corners, if you cheat the process, if you make excuses, you're training your mind to believe you are not worthy of your own trust. And if you can't trust yourself, if you can't respect yourself, don't be surprised when nobody else respects you either. People see through the front. They feel the energy they can smell when someone has built themselves on lies and shortcuts. Respect is not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about proving who you are through the battles you win against yourself every single day. The hardest are always the ones within. When that voice in your head tells you to quit, to settle, to stay comfortable, and you push back against it, that's when you're building self-respect. Every single time you choose discipline over comfort, every time you choose to keep going when your body and mind are screaming at you to stop, you're carving out a new version of yourself, a stronger version. That self-respect becomes the foundation of every other kind of respect in your life. People respect those who respect themselves, who carry themselves with dignity, who hold the line when it gets tough. They see someone who doesn't break under pressure, who doesn't fold when life turns ugly, and that demands respect without you ever having to ask for it. A lot of people confuse being liked with being respected. Those are two very different things. You can be liked because you're agreeable, because you tell people what they want to hear, because you fit in and don't rock the boat. But respect comes when people recognize you've done the work, when they see the scars, when they see the consistency, when they see you living by a standard that's higher than most are willing to commit to. Respect doesn't care about your popularity. It cares about your integrity. And integrity starts with you keeping your word to yourself. It starts with not quitting on that run when nobody is watching, not skipping the grind because nobody will grow. You will know. And that knowledge either builds or destroys your self-respect. There's a way to true respect. You can feel it. It's not fake. It's not shallow. It comes from the grind, the sweat, the sacrifice. It comes from being honest with yourself when you've failed, taking accountability, and then getting back up and doing better. Too many people want respect without accountability. They want respect while living sloppy. They want disrespecting themselves. That's not how it works. Respect is a mirror. What you put into yourself reflects back into how others see you. If you carry yourself like you're unworthy, if you constantly betray yourself with laziness and excuses, you'll attract that same energy from the world. But if you carry yourself with discipline, if you respect your time, your health, your word, people will have no choice but to recognize it. You can tell the difference between someone who truly respects themselves and someone who's faking it. The one who respects themselves doesn't have to talk about it. They don't have to demand it. You see it in the way they move, the way they carry themselves, the way they attack life. There's a confidence that comes from knowing you've earned your place, from knowing you didn't take shortcuts, from knowing you went through the fire and came out harder, sharper, unbreakable. That's the kind of respect that sticks. And it all starts with the person staring back at you in the mirror every single morning. Most people don't realize that self-respect is built in the smallest moments, the decisions nobody else will ever see. Do you pick up the trash on the floor or walk past it? Do you put the shopping cart back or leave it in the lot? Do you finish the workout or cut it short because you're tired? Do you hold yourself accountable when you slip, or do you lie to yourself? These little decisions stack up, and they form the image you hold of yourself. Over time, they either make you into someone you admire, someone you trust, someone you respect, or they make you into someone you can't even look in the mirror without shame. And that's the truth a lot of people run from. You can't hide from yourself. And the level of respect you have for yourself will always dictate the level of respect others give you. If you want to command respect, start by living a life that you respect. Cut out the excuses, the victim mentality, the soft habits that make you weak. Build yourself into someone that you admire, not because it looks good on Instagram or because it impresses your friends, but because you know in your soul that you didn't settle, that you fought for the best version of yourself. That's when the shift happens. That's when people look at you differently. Not because you told them to, not because you demanded it, but because they can't help but see the strength, the discipline, the integrity that radiates from selves fully respect isn't built in a crowd. It isn't born out of applause. It doesn't come from likes, comments, or approval. Respect is built in the quiet, in the silence, in those lonely hours when you're grinding with nobody watching, nobody clapping, nobody even believing in you, but you keep going anyway. It's built in those early mornings when the alarm goes off and your body says, stay down, but your mind says, get up. It's forged in those long nights when everybody else is asleep, but you're still pushing, still studying, still working, still chasing the version of yourself you refuse to quit on. Respect and sacrifice always comes in silence. That's why most people never taste it, because most people can't handle the silence, can't handle being unseen, can't handle not being recognized, or they bleed for their goals in this world. People crave attention more than they crave respect. They want the photo op, the shout out, the spotlight. But attention fades. Attention is cheap. Attention is drunk. Respect is something different. Respect comes when people see the weight you carry, the scars you've earned, the consistency you live by. And that kind of respect doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen when you post a highlight reel. It happens when you choose the grind over the excuse, when you choose discipline over ease, when you keep promises you make to yourself long before anybody else even cares who you are. Respect is invisible work made visible through results. Think about it. Every person you truly respect in this world, the ones who inspire you, the ones who make you pause and say, damn, that's different. They didn't get by talking about it. They got there by putting their head down and doing the work in silence. The athletes you respect didn't get their respect because they posted gym selfies. They got it from years of brutal, unseen training. The leaders you respect didn't get it because they demanded it. They earned it by making hard choices when nobody was looking. The warriors you respect didn't become warriors by calling themselves warriors. They proved it in the dark places where fear and pain tried to break them, and they refused to break. Respect is not built in the spotlight. It's built when the lights are off. That's the price of respect, and sacrifice is never easy. It means saying no to things that everyone else says yes to. It means missing out on parties, on comfort, on lazy weekends because you're locked in on building something bigger than yourself. It means cutting ties with people who drain you, even if you love them, because they're holding you back from the life you know you need to live. It means putting yourself through pain willingly, because you know pain is the only way to grow. Sacrifice is ugly. Sacrifice is lonely. Sacrifice hurts. And that's why it earns respect, because it's rare. It's rare to see someone who will suffer for their standard, who will bleed for their vision, who will burn bridges with comfort in order to build a future that demands more from them. And when you see that, when people see that, respect is automatic. But here's the thing. You can't fake it. You can't fake sacrifice. You can't fake discipline. You can't fake the grind. People can smell fake. They can see through the words, through the performance, through the empty bravado. Real respect is undeniable because it carries weight. You feel it in the presence of someone who's been through the fire. You see it in their eyes, in the way they stand, in the way they carry themselves. There's a different kind of gravity around people who have earned respect through sacrifice. And that gravity comes from all the silent wars they fought, and one when nobody was there to pat them on the back. Respect is also proven through consistency. Anybody can grind for a week, anybody can show discipline for a month, but respect comes when you do it year after year, when you keep stacking days, stacking reps, stacking sacrifices, till it becomes undeniable. The world might ignore you at first, they might laugh, they might doubt, but respect builds slow, like bricks stacking into a fortress. Each sacrifice you make is another brick. Each time you choose discipline over comfort, another brick. Each time you keep your word to yourself, another brick. And eventually, when people finally look up, they can't deny what you've built. That's when respect arrives, not because you begged for it, but because you built something they can't ignore. It's not about being loud. It's not about demanding it. It's not about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about walking a path so disciplined, so committed that your life itself becomes the evidence. That's the power of silent sacrifice. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to announce it. You don't need advertising to explain it. People will see it in your results. They'll feel it in your presence. They'll know it in their God. Respect has a frequency, and only those who have paid the price can carry it. If you want it, stop talking about it, stop chasing approval, and start building it where it really matters. In the quiet, in the dark, when nobody's there to watch you, excuses are the killers of respect, the silent assassins that strip you of every ounce of credibility you think you have. You can have the right words, the right clothes, the right image, but if you live on excuses, you'll never have respect. Excuses are nothing but lies you tell yourself to make weakness feel justified. They're the easy outs, the soft landings you create to avoid the truth that you didn't do what you said you were going to do. And the more excuses you make, the more you erode the foundation of respect, both from yourself and from others. Because nobody respects someone who hides behind reasons, who covers failure with a story, who points the finger everywhere except at themselves. Respect doesn't care about your excuses. Respect only listens to results. You can't fool people with excuses for long. They may nod at you, they may pretend to understand, but deep down they know when someone is full of excuses. And more importantly, that's the part that eats away at you. You can dress excuses up as reasons, you can call them obstacles, you can say life wasn't fair, but the truth sits heavy in your chest because you let yourself off the hook. Every time you make an excuse, you rob yourself of self-respect. And once your self-respect is gone, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You can't stand tall in your own skin if you keep selling yourself short with excuses. People who live in excuses will always crave respect but never touch it because respect belongs to them. Make excuses and instead find a way. Look at the people you truly respect. They're not perfect. They've failed. They've fallen, but they never justified it with excuses. They owned it. They took responsibility. They got back up and kept moving. That's why you respect them. You respect the one who admits they didn't do enough and then comes back stronger, not the one who blames the weather, the boss, the system, the timing, the luck. Excuses are a shield for the weak, and respect is only attracted to strength. The world is full of people who can explain why they didn't win, why they didn't finish, why they didn't show up. But the world bows to the ones who refuse to explain and instead just keep showing up, keep fighting, keep producing results. That's the difference between living respected and living ignored. Excuses also destroy discipline. They creep into your mind and give you permission to slack, to skip, to quit. One excuse turns into two into 10. And before you know it, you've built a life that looks like a cemetery of broken promises. You said you'd get in shape, but the excuse was, I'm too tired. You said you'd build that business, but the excuse was, I don't have time. You said you'd be a better father, a better mother, a better leader, but the excuse was, I'm too stressed. Every excuse is a brick in the wall between you and respect. And while you're busy stacking excuses, someone else is stacking results. Someone else is running when you're resting. Someone else is grinding when you're whining. Someone else is proving themselves when you're talking yourself out of it. And when it's all said and done, respect will go to them, not you. Excuses may make you feel safe in the short term, but in the long run, they enslave you. They make you a prisoner of your own weakness. They rob you of growth, of progress, of strength. Respect doesn't live in comfort zones. It lives on the edge of struggle, on the edge of pain, on the edge of what you thought you couldn't do. Every time you silence an excuse and choose discipline, you grow. Every time you kill that voice that says, not today, you earn another layer of respect, not just from others, but from yourself. And that's the most important respect of all, because when you respect yourself enough to stop making excuses, you no longer need anyone else's approval. You carry yourself differently. You walk into a room and people can feel it. They may not even know why, but they know this person doesn't live on excuses. This person lives on results. Excuses will always be available. There will always be a reason to stop, a reason to slow down, a reason to give up. But respect doesn't care about reasons. Respect doesn't bend to excuses. Respect only listens to proof. He listens to the man or woman who shows up anyway, who keeps going anyway, who refuses to bow down to the easy way out. When you train yourself to eliminate excuses, you build an unshakable reputation. People start to see you as someone they can count on, someone solid, someone who doesn't fold under pressure. That's how you command respect, not by demanding it, not by talking about it, but by living in such a way that excuses have no place in your vocabulary.